Today's episode is focused on making you a pro in job interviews and professional success. Whether you're preparing for a big interview or aiming to sound more confident at work, we've got you covered. We'll explore essential vocabulary like initiative and proactive, break down common interview questions with real-life examples, and even role-play a mock interview to show you how it's done. Plus, we'll explain tricky words along the way and sprinkle in some humor to keep things light. Hey everyone, welcome back to Fluent English Pod, where we help you train your mind to think in English and speak fluently. I'm Dave with our co-host Emma.
Hey, we're so glad you're here. Whether you're listening on your way to work, while making dinner, or just winding down for the day, thanks for spending this time with us. By the end of this episode, you'll have the tools and confidence to ace your next interview or shine in any professional setting. Let's get started.
Okay, Emma, let's start with some must-know vocabulary for job interviews. First up, strengths and weaknesses. These are classic interview questions, right?
Absolutely. Strengths are your strong points, things you're good at. Most interviewees answer this question briefly, like, one of my strengths is my ability to work well under pressure. Remember, this question is a tricky one. Through this question, the interviewer is not only checking your strength, but also your communication and problem-solving skills. So, make sure to relate your answer to a real-life story that demonstrates your strength. When you're talking about your strengths, don't just state them, bring them to life with a story or an incident. Interviewers are humans too, and they love hearing real-life examples because it helps them relate to you.
That's a perfect analogy, Emma. For instance, instead of just saying, I work well under pressure, you could say, one of my strengths is my ability to work well under pressure. For example, in my previous role, we had a major client presentation due, and our team lead fell ill the day before. I stepped up, organized the team, and worked late into the night to ensure everything was perfect. The client loved the presentation, and my manager praised my calmness and leadership during a stressful time.
See how much more impactful that is? It's not just a statement. It's a story that shows your strength in action. It also demonstrates qualities like leadership, teamwork, and problem-solving, which are all things employers look for.
And here's another tip. When you're sharing an example, try to make it relatable and human. Interviewers aren't robots. They're looking for someone who can handle challenges with confidence and maybe even a little humor.
For example, you could say, one of my strengths is my sense of humor, which helps me keep the team morale high, even during stressful projects. Once, during a late-night crunch, I lightened the mood by ordering pizza and cracking a few jokes. It made the team feel appreciated, and we ended up finishing the project ahead of schedule.
That's perfect. It shows you're not just competent, but also someone people enjoy working with. And let's be honest, who doesn't love pizza?
That's so true, Dave. Being a fun person to hang out is also a strength that one could have. Now let's move into the opposite of strength, weakness.
Again, the key is to be honest, but strategic. Always mention how you're working on improving. For example, you can say, I used to struggle with public speaking, but I've been taking steps to improve. I joined a Toastmasters club, and now I feel much more confident presenting in front of groups. In fact, I recently led a workshop for my team, and it went really well.
That's a great way to turn a weakness into a growth story. It shows self-awareness and a willingness to improve, which are qualities employers value.
And remember, interviewers are humans too. They've probably faced similar challenges in their careers, so they'll appreciate your honesty and effort to grow.
Now, listeners, think about your strengths and weaknesses, and come up with a real-life example for each. Share them in the comments. For strength, I'm great at problem solving. Once, I fixed a major technical issue just minutes before a client demo. For weakness, I used to struggle with time management, but now I use a productivity app to stay on track.
And don't forget to have fun with it. Interviewers love candidates who can confidently share their stories and show a little personality.
That's right. At the end of the day, interviews are about connecting with people. So, be yourself, share your experiences, and let your strengths shine.
And if you're feeling nervous, just remember, interviewers are humans too. They've been in your shoes and they're rooting for you to succeed.
So go out there, tell your stories, and ace that interview.
Another important word is initiative. It means taking action without being told. For example, I took the initiative to organize a team meeting to improve communication.
Love it. And let's not forget team player. Employers love this phrase. It means you work well with others. For example, I consider myself a team player because I enjoy collaborating and sharing ideas.
Perfect. Now let's throw in a tricky word. Proactive. Emma, can you explain that?
Sure, proactive means taking control and making things happen rather than waiting for them to happen. For example, I'm proactive in solving problems before they become bigger issues.
Nice one, Emma. And listeners, if you're ever unsure about a word, just ask. It shows you're eager to learn.
Let's add a few more words to your interview vocabulary toolkit. Leadership. I demonstrated leadership by guiding my team through a challenging project. Detail-oriented. I'm very detail-oriented, which helps me catch errors before they become problems. Resilient. I'm resilient and can bounce back quickly from setbacks.
Nice one, Emma. And listeners, if you're ever unsure about a word, just ask. It shows you're eager to learn.
Seriously, Dave, these questions are in every interview. They're like the basic, primitive questions nowadays, but they're still so tacky and tricky. Let's start with the dreaded, "Tell me about yourself" question.
Ah, the classic. This is your chance to give a quick summary of your professional background. But here's the thing. Don't just list your job history, make it engaging. For example, I'm a marketing professional with 5 years of experience in digital campaigns. I specialize in social media strategy and have helped companies increase their online engagement by 30%. But what really excites me is finding creative ways to connect brands with their audiences.
Nice and concise, but let's make it even more relatable. Imagine you're telling a story to a friend. For instance, I started my career as a social media intern, and over the years, I've grown into a role where I lead campaigns for major brands. One of my proudest moments was when a campaign I designed went viral and doubled our clients' followers in just 3 months.
Love it. Now, let's tackle another common question. Why do you want to work here?
Right. This is where you show you've done your homework. But don't just regurgitate the company's mission statement. Make it personal. For example, I'm impressed by your company's commitment to innovation, especially your recent project on sustainable packaging. As someone who's passionate about environmental issues, I'd love to contribute my skills in project management to help drive new initiatives like this.
Spot on. And here's a pro tip. Sprinkle in a little fun. You could say, I also heard your team has a monthly pizza day, and as a self-proclaimed pizza connoisseur, I'd love to join the tradition.
Ha ha ha! Just don't make it all about the pizza, Dave.
Fair point. Now, let's move on to the ever-dreaded question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
This one's tricky. You want to sound ambitious, but not unrealistic. You could say, in 5 years, I see myself growing into a leadership role, mentoring others, and contributing to the company's long-term success. I'd also love to take on more international projects to broaden my perspective.
Perfect. But let's add a little humor here too. For example, in 5 years, I see myself as a confident leader, but hopefully still remembering where I left my coffee mug every morning.
Ha ha! That's a good one. Now, let's have some fun. Dave, what's the worst answer you've ever heard to an interview question?
Oh, I once heard someone say, where do I see myself in 5 years? Probably on a beach in Bali.
Ha ha! Please don't say that in an interview.
I know, right? But here's another one. Someone was asked, what's your greatest weakness? And they said, I'm too much of a perfectionist.
Oh no, that's such a cliche. It's like saying, I work too hard or I care too much. Interviewers can see right through that.
Exactly. Instead, be genuine. For example, I used to struggle with delegating tasks because I wanted everything to be perfect. But I've learned that trusting my team and sharing responsibilities leads to better results and less stress for everyone.
That's a great answer. It shows self-awareness and growth.
Now, listeners, here's your challenge. Think about how you'd answer these questions. Share your funniest or most creative responses in the comments. I will give a little hint. Ready? Tell me about yourself. I'm a data analyst by day and a salsa dancer by night. I love finding patterns, whether it's in spreadsheets or on the dance floor. Why do you want to work here? I've been following your company's blog for years, and I'm a huge fan of your innovative approach. Plus, I heard you have an office dog, and I'd love to meet them. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself leading a team of talented individuals, maybe even mentoring someone like I was mentored early in my career. And hopefully, I'll have finally mastered the art of keeping my desk organized.
And don't forget to have fun with it. Interviews don't have to be stiff and formal. Show your personality, share your stories, and let your confidence shine.
That's right. At the end of the day, interviewers are humans too. They want to see the real you, someone they can imagine working with every day.
So, go out there, tell your stories, and ace that interview. And remember, if you're feeling nervous, just picture the interviewer in their pajamas. It's a game changer.
Ha ha, yee. Or picture them eating pizza during a late night work session. We're all human after all.
Let's do a quick role play to practice. Dave, you're the interviewer, and I'm the candidate.
Got it. Okay, Emma, tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work and how you handled it.
Great question. In my previous role, we had a tight deadline for a client project, and one of our team members got sick. I took the initiative to redistribute the workload and worked extra hours to ensure we met the deadline. The client was thrilled with the results.
Wow, that's impressive. You're hired.
Haha, thanks, Dave.
All right, listeners, it's time for your homework. Practice answering these common interview questions. 1. Tell me about yourself. 2. What are your strengths and weaknesses? 3. Why do you want to work here?
And don't forget to use the vocabulary we discussed today. Record yourself if you can. It's a great way to improve.
Thanks for tuning in to English Fluent Pod. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who's prepping for an interview.
And don't forget to subscribe for more fun and practical English tips. Until next time, keep practicing and stay confident.